Okay. Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to the XFL. That's right,
The good
folks.
XFL.
That's right, folks. This is the X Pound Fantasy League. I'm James. He's Jeff.
What's up?
Tiff could not be here this evening, but we do give her a very big thanks for doing the majority of tonight's scoring, and she did not have to do that. Thank you so much, Tiff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That is a great favor from her to us. Saves us a lot of work and time. So, that being the case, we are going to go ahead and score the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which aired this past Sunday, the 17th of February, and see what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me go ahead and 1 minute here, and I will bring up the document with the scores. Let you know what's going on here. I'm going to sneeze first. Sorry. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, as you can see, the lead at 52.18 is still extremely legit yes movement, followed by the Rowdy Louse Kickers at 5,005, and I'm still way in the back at 32.38.
Yep. You're just still chugging along.
Yep. This is what it is. All right. Let's go to the leaderboards.
Mm-hmm.
I say go to the leaderboards. Thank you. Top of the leaderboard is the Raw Women's Champion, Rowdy Ronda Rousey at 355. Seth freaking Rollins at 350. Akira Tozawa at 343. Finn Balor at 321. The Man Becky Lynch at 307. Dean Ambrose at 285. The WWE Champion, the new Daniel Bryan at 260. Baron Corbin at 246. Samoa Joe at 245. And Kalisto rounding out the top 10 at 243. All right. These in order and see what happened at their pay-per-view.
Hmm.
So the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view emanated from Houston, Texas. At the Toyota Center. We begin with a kickoff show. The panel tonight consists of Jonathan Coachman, Hall of Famer Booker T, Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, and Sam Roberts. We open up with a video of Mustafa Ali talking about not being medically cleared to compete tonight in the Chamber, which I think is the same video for SmackDown, so I'm not awarding any points for it.
Mm-hmm.
Brian is in his locker room pacing with Rowan's in there with him. Pre-tape promo for Braun Strowman about his history with his opponent tonight, Baron Corbin. So that's a promo to Braun. All right. Sheamus and Cesaro go to the kickoff panel, but they're interrupted by Heavy Machinery. And Heavy Machinery predict that Shane and Miz will win tonight. And the two teams have some arguments before Coachman kind of dismisses them all. So promo to the Bar and Heavy Machinery. $42. And Sheamus. 119. And while we're down here, Tucker Knight. And Otis Dozovic. 2-4. All right. So following that, the Riot Squad are backstage talking about tonight, saying that they got matching tattoos of their WWE debut date. Charlotte then interrupts and informs Ruby Riott that she's going to be at ringside for Ruby's match tonight against Ronda Rousey to see whether she'll have a new opponent for WrestleMania. And basically, Charlotte makes some not so subtle implications that she may or may not get involved in the match. So that's a promo to Charlotte and the Riot Squad. Two. And Ruby Riott. And we'll give Sonya and Liv, Sarah and Liv, I should say. We'll get 3 each because they were there but didn't say anything. Actually, no, that's not true. I'm going to amend that because they did. Because before Charlotte walked up, they were talking about how great it would be if they won the tag titles and then Ruby won the Raw Women's title, they'd be good to go. That actually is worth the full 5 for them now that I think about it. Liv Morgan is up here. 96. All right. After that, we go to the pre-show match, the kickoff show match of Buddy Murphy defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Akira Tozawa.
Yep.
Yep, you sound so thrilled.
Akira should have won this match.
Yeah, well, Akira didn't win this match.
Thus, no longer has a career.
Akira hasn't had a career in a while.
They were reviving it by putting him with Kendrick and actually, saying I want people to take me seriously and actually going out and performing and fucking stealing the show. But then there's no payoff. It's like, no, we're just going to have Buddy kind of steamroll him. It's like, well, that's great.
Yeah, pretty much. They did have a great match. They did do a lot of back and forthing.
Unless the whole payoff is Akira and Buddy are going to continue their feud all the way to WrestleMania and Akira's going to win it at WrestleMania.
Could be. It's worth noting WWE cared so little about this match that they cut to an interview with the New Day in the middle of it.
Oh.
Where that Caleb Braxton was trying to talk to Kofi, but Biggie and Xavier talked for him. So
promo points to the New Day?
Yes.
Or, 5 to Biggie and Xavier, 3 as many for Kofi since he didn't get to say anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, WWE knew how over Kofi was.
Yep. Okay, let's see. So meanwhile, back in the match, they cut back to the match for a little bit. Tozawa put a submission on Murphy's arms. Murphy countered it with a backbreaker and then a chin lock and an abdominal stretch. The interview was still going on. Big E said that Kofi would be WWE champion, and then they finally ended the interview part. Then we go back to the match. Tozawa with a super kick and picks the pace up a little bit. Jumping kick, Shining Wizard, pump kick to the jaw, a few other things. Murphy countered with a boot, and they kind of were throwing strikes back and forth. There was a good spot here where Tozawa countered a powerbomb with a Hurricanrana out of the corner, which is pretty cool. They got a "This Is Awesome" chant. Tozawa went for a crossbody, but Buddy Murphy caught him, slammed him into his knee a couple times, and then hit him with a brainbuster, apparently. Surprised I let him do that. More exchanges of strikes. Ends with a delayed German suplex by Tozawa and a 2 count. Tozawa up and jumps off with a reverse hurricanrana. He then suicide dives, comes back and it connects with another suicide dive, then goes up top, Murphy to the apron, and Tozawa hit a senton to the back of Murphy. Murphy hit a stiff knee to the face, and Tozawa rolled through for a pin for a 2. Tozawa then applied the octopus hold submission, but Murphy managed to roll through the submission and stand up with Tozawa still locked on him, break his hands, flip him around on his position on his body and his arms, hit Tozawa with a Murphy's Law, and then picked him up and hit him with another Murphy's Law, and then pinned him.
Damn. Yeah, he kind of steamrolled him.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Buddy Murphy.
Yep. I think it was 2 Murphy's Laws because it's only listed 1 here, but I'm pretty sure he did it twice from my memory.
Fair.
Points, my good sir.
Kira Tozawa
Yes.
gets 30 points for the evening.
373.
And Buddy Murphy $70 points to Buddy Murphy for the evening.
Puts it at 258.
Also, somebody needs to tell Tiff that Aiden English is part of the commentary team now.
She's trying to get points.
She tried to give you extra points for Aiden doing his job.
Thanks, Tiff.
Yeah, sorry, you don't get those points. That's kind of what he's been hired to do at this point.
Yeah, at least through WrestleMania.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Moving along. We go to the main show. Opens up with a video package. As usual, shots of the Toyota Center. And we open ourselves right up with the Women's Elimination Tag Team Chamber match to crown the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Naomi and Carmella come out first in matching green glow outfits. Commentators for this match are Cole, Corey, Renee, and Beth Phoenix. Then Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan entered, and they were announced as being the 2 teams that would start the match. Then the Iconics. Then Nia and Tamina, Sonya and Mandy. Oh, sorry. No, I lied. Liv and Sarah were in the pod. It's Mandy and Sonya that started. I still get those 2 teams confused.
Fair.
But Sonya and Mandy, because they lost the each brand had a triple threat tag team match on their show, and the losers will have to from each brand will be starting the match.
Fair. Did Ruby come out with Sarah and Liv?
It doesn't mention it here, but I want to say she did.
Okay.
Because I think she walked them out to the chamber and then went back to the back.
So she would get 5 points for accompaniment then.
Yeah.
Fair.
Oh, like I said, also there was another video from Kevin Owens in his car talking about how he's going to be back soon and that he doesn't understand why kids eat pineapple on pizza. So quick promo to KO.
Because it's good.
No, it's not. It's an abomination to pizza.
So you're saying Hawaii's an abomination to the United States of America?
No, I'm saying the concept of pineapple on pizza is an abomination.
I like it, but whatever.
Yeah. Also, it's worth noting that WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry showed up.
Somebody gonna get their ass kicked?
When he came out, he talked about the chamber matches and promoted his new documentary.
Oh.
Which aired on the WWE Network immediately following the pay-per-view.
Fair.
He also predicted that the Iconics and Kofi Kingston would win their respective chamber matches. and also added that while he may be retired, if he was in the Elimination Chamber match tonight, there will be a lot more entrants in the Hall of Pain.
Yeah, from the guy who was never a threat. Sorry, Mark, but let's be honest. You haven't been a threat since the Attitude Era.
I don't know, dude power slammed John Cena to oblivion.
Yeah.
And he also cut one of the best fake-out promos in the history of wrestling.
That is true.
Which, for the record, by the way, I actually watched the Mark Henry documentary. It was actually quite good. And it was interesting because he talked about that event and how that whole thing came up. Because Mark Henry was saying his full intent with that whole thing was he was intending, like, at that time, he was fully intending to retire.
Mm-hmm.
And he went in to talk to Vince and tell Vince, I'm about ready to wrap it up. My kids, I don't want to do this anymore. And as Mark Henry explained, the thing, if you ain't ever met him before, the thing about Vince McMahon is, if you alone and you talk to him face to face, he gonna talk you into doing whatever he wants you to do. So I went in there and talked to Vince about how I was gonna retire. I walked out of there with a 5-year contract.
Ha.
That's just how it goes. Anyway, so spiritual points to Mark Henry.
Fair.
And then the Women's Elimination Chamber match.
Well, based on the point spread I'm seeing, it seems like it was a whole lot of Sasha and Bayley dominating literally everyone.
Move-wise, you are not wrong. They did come out last for a reason.
Oh, did they come out last?
Yes, they did.
Person who comes out last never wins. What the hell?
Not true.
Well, it's like the Rumble. Statistically, whoever comes out last statistically has the lowest chance of actually winning the match.
Apparently not in this case.
Apparently not in this case, thank God. Anyway, go through this long-ass match.
All right. So, being this is a tag team chamber, if any one member of a team is pinned or submitted, the whole team is eliminated.
So, in other words, go for the weakest links.
Correct.
Got it.
So, Sasha
they need to add this to the next game. They need a tag team chamber match in the next game.
That'd be nice.
I know what we're going to be doing for 2K20.
Yeah.
There's going to be a new X-Pound Classic, and it's going to involve lots and lots of steel.
We'll see.
They need to allow us to make custom elimination chambers. I can actually make the X-Pound chamber. I would call it the X-Pound. Welcome to the pound. Anyway, continue.
Indeed. So, Sasha and Bayley started the match off with not absolution.
Mm-hmm.
And Sasha and Bayley took control pretty quickly. And one thing I will say about this match, by the way, is both Not Absolution and the Riot Squad, I was very impressed with both of these teams.
I thought you said Sasha and Bayley came out last.
In terms of entrances.
Oh, I thought you meant out of the pods last.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, never mind what I said.
No, they started the match.
Fair. Okay, so
I meant in terms of entrances, they were the last one to make an entrance to the chamber.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that being like, okay, yeah. Fair enough.
So anyway, by the way, I will say that both the teams, the Riot Squad and Not Absolution, great job in this match, because I normally kind of discredit those teams.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest, they don't always do a lot, especially the SmackDown one. But they both were really impressive in this thing and showed that they do deserve to be here. And I was very glad they got to show that off. I was very impressed.
Well, Sonya Deville is former MMA, so she's got talent. They just never let her actually fight.
And she showed it. She was throwing MMA punches in this.
No.
Anyway, so they start things off. Banks with a cross-body block onto both of the other women, onto the mats outside the ring. As was mentioned by Michael Cole, that this is a very dangerous structure. The outside of there is no countouts due to this nature of the chamber, and the outside of the ring area is covered by a very thin layer of protective padding, and it's still very painful if you get slammed on it.
Also, for the women's one, they put the padding out there.
There's a very light protective padding on the floor of the chamber. I think it was still there for the dudes one too, to be honest. I think they just put it there permanently.
Okay, because I was about to say, I'm fairly certain, like the original chamber anyway, had no fucking padding. It was all steel.
And I believe you're correct. And I think a lot of guys got hurt by that, which is why they don't do that anymore.
That is totally fair.
So anyway, these two teams went back and forth for a while. Mandy Rose hit a backbreaker on Bailey, got a 2 count off of it. Something that doesn't normally get to happen because of it normally being on SmackDown was well written when Renee proceeded to call Corey Graves out on being a little creepy on Mandy Rose.
Ha!
She said it's a little uncomfortable. So anyway, the ladies fought outside of the ring in the external area there. And Bailey hit a neck breaker on Mandy on the floor out there, which is kind of nice. After about 5 minutes, the next team to enter was the Riot Squad.
Sarah Logan's a fucking beast.
Yeah. She was wrecking face. Yep. She opened up with a running knee into Sasha Banks' face into the cage.
Ow.
Yeah, that did not look pleasant. Then she whipped Banks' arm first into a pod and then headbutted Bailey.
Oh, by the way, do me a favor as you're recapping this.
Yep.
Keep track of any OMGs that you deem fit, because Tiff doesn't have any of that, because obviously most of that probably wasn't mentioned in the recap that she read.
Oh, there's at least a couple in this match that I'm going to talk about.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming most of the OMGs are probably going to come from your recollection and not the recap that you're reading. So,
for the most part.
So I will leave it to you to keep track of that shit and add that to the totals that I give you.
Sounds good.
Go.
All right. So anyway, so DeVille started going crazy, and Liv Morgan attacked Mandy Rose, and Liv Morgan slapped Sonya Deville in the face really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Then DeVille proceeded to kick Sarah Logan in the face. All the women ended up down on the mat until Bailey managed to climb over onto Liv Morgan for a 2 count. Then she's throwing clotheslines and hit a belly-to-back suplex. There was one of those big Tower of Doom spots out of the corner.
What's like Sasha doing this whole time? Like, it sounds like she's doing nothing.
Yeah, Sasha was down on the outside for an extended period of the match after the hard when Sonya basically took her by the arm and threw her into the into the pod.
Ow.
Yeah, she had her by the arm and she like slammed her arm first into the pod. So Sasha was like outside the ring cradling her arm for a portion of the match here. Oh,
fair.
Not as bad as the OMG that's going to happen on Bailey in a minute.
Okay.
So anyway, the Tower of Doom goes off. Bailey takes a superplex. 2 women are plexing her, and then the other 2 grab the 2 that are plexing and slam them down in a powerbomb style.
Okay, yeah.
So do the big Tower of Doom spot. And so everybody is down. And the clock then ticked down again. And I do like, I'm reading the John report, by the way.
Fair.
And I will know that John did notice by his timing that they were not equitably timing these pod door openings.
Oh, really?
Because apparently the first one was after 5 minutes, but he said this one was only after about 4.
Huh.
So, I don't know. So anyway, the clock ticked down again, and the Iconics came out.
Okay.
And to the Iconics' credit, and even the commentators gave the Iconics full credit for being smart, because after the Tower of Doom, the Iconics came out, and all the women were just down in the ring. So the Iconics jumped in the ring and just started trying to pin everybody.
Nah.
They pinned nobody.
Did they try 2-person pinning someone?
They did not.
That's what I would have done. If this is a tag match, I would have been like, okay, chances are if I try to pin someone, someone's going to kick out. But if I have you come in and sit on top of me, they're not kicking out of that.
Wait for it. The Iconics figure that out.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway. So, after all the 2 counts went off, the Iconics started screaming at the referee. And they grabbed a couple of the ladies from the ground and whipped them into some turnbuckles. They were throwing some double knees to Mandy Rose, a front suplex on Sonya Deville. Iconics are doing a decent job. Though I feel like they were the least impressive team in this match.
Which is hilarious because, as I mentioned, I think it was the last episode maybe, of all the teams in this match, they're the only one that's a legitimate team.
I disagree. I think there's enough grounds to call the Riot Squad a team at this point.
Well, they're a faction. I don't know. They're a faction, but they haven't had a lot of matches together. And let's be honest, most of the matches they have were barely matches because they just got ran over. And I haven't seen them on NXT, so I don't know how much, if at all, they actually team together in NXT. Because as far as I know in NXT, both Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan, before becoming the Riot Squad, primarily did like solo work, and like they became the Riot Squad either shortly before they jumped to the main roster or after they came to the main roster. They came up with Ruby Riot. Because the majority of the NXT stuff that I've seen of like Mandy Rose stuff has been like singles competition. So, whereas the Iconics they've always been the Iconics, not necessarily the Iconics, but they've always been the team. I don't think they've rarely, if ever, have done solo competition. Like they're a legitimate tag team. They came up through NXT as a tag team. So it's like of all the teams, they're the ones that should have been the most impressive because they've been a team the longest.
Fair. Anyway, so after the Iconics start throwing some women around, they decide to focus their attentions on Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
And Peyton Royce hits her with a knee. But as they go for another pinfall, Sasha Banks manages to drag herself into the ring and break up a pinfall, cradling her left arm and shoulder the entire time where it got slammed into the pod.
So basically, they worked the match so Sasha didn't have to do much because she's like still technically injured or something.
That's what it seemed like.
Why would you put the title on someone who's injured? That makes no sense. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, Banks got driven into the knee of Billie Kay, and then ate a spin kick for Peyton Royce, which got a 2 count. They kept working out Bayley and Banks on the outside area for a little while, with Royce hitting a diving maneuver. And as this was happening, another pod went up. And this time it was the Fabulous Glow.
Okay.
That is what they're calling themselves, by the way.
Fair.
So they came out into the match, and Naomi started off with some... Naomi and Carmella took quick advantage by use of their agility, being their strong suit. Naomi hit a springboard crossbody block. Then the ladies managed to knock both of the Iconics into opposing corners of the ring, and Naomi and Carmella then proceeded to loop around each other in the center of the ring, and each hit the running Bronco Busters on either corner.
Fair.
And Naomi then hit a jumping kick on Peyton Royce. Billie Kay and Carmella were started climbing the cage, but then ended up Carmella hit a flying head scissors that sent Billie Kay into a pod. Carmella then super kicked Sarah Logan, and then Naomi hit her with a split-legged moonsault, which got a 2. Then Carmella with a crossbody block on Sarah Logan. Bayley gets back into it with a belly-to-back suplex onto Carmella. Peyton Royce hits what apparently was a gory special on Sasha Banks. There's a running knee. Mandy Rose slams Liv Morgan down, then hits a fisherman suplex on her. Sonya Deville with a spear on Sarah Logan. Carmella then follows up with a super kick. So this leaves everybody down all around the ring. But Naomi and Mandy Rose are the first two to get up, and we know the history between these two. So they get into it with Naomi throwing lots of right hands.
Now, I'm sure Corey Graves had stuff to say during this point.
Yes, he did.
And I'm sure Renee Young continued to call him creepy.
A little bit.
Creepy little bit. Uncle Corey.
Something. Anyway. So. Anyway, Naomi connected with the rear view. I lost my spot. Okay, so she hit the rear view. But then after being distracted with that, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce finally figured out your aforementioned strategy. They grabbed Naomi from behind, rolled her up, and both held her down for the pinfall.
Fair enough.
Did you want to score them as they're eliminated? Or did you want to wait till the end?
We can go as they're eliminated. I'm fine with that.
Very well. Fabulous Glue.
All right. So Mela, who's not money. Because she let her tag team partner get pinned by two women.
Yep.
16 points.
All right. So that would be 35. Another 6 is 141. And Naomi
also gets 16 points.
Okay, well, that puts her at 160 even.
And neither of them got any OMGs, right?
No, but I do give them credit for an excellent, perfectly synchronized dual moonwalk.
Fair.
In opposing directions, so like their choreography was and flow of partnership was very on point.
Well, that kind of makes sense because isn't Naomi a dancer by trade?
Yeah, she was a dancer, cheerleader, what have you. She's done those.
So it's probably very easy for her to sync that up.
Yep. Anyway, so they got eliminated, and pretty much right after they closed the cage and locked the doors, Nia and Tamina were released.
Okay.
And the crowd heavily booed them. So Nia and Tamina got into the ring. And all the other teams were down, and most of them were outside of the ring at this point. And let me see here. So they clean house and start dropping everybody. And there's a great moment where Nia and Tamina are kind of looking around at all the women and trying to decide what they're going to do. And after a couple of minutes, they pause for a second. And they're like, wait a minute. And they turn around. And the Iconics have proceeded to seal themselves inside a pod.
Okay.
To try to stay away from Nia and Tamina. And they're like pointing, like, oh, go after them. They're over there. They're vulnerable. We'll just be over here. This, of course, does not work as Nia and Tamina proceed to each force one side of the pod open, each pull out an Iconic, and assault them. And it was an interesting moment where, like, and I'm not even joking, like this may well be worth an OMG for Tamina and Nia on this, but they slam the Iconics down on the ground, right? They're still outside the cage, right? And once they had each of the Iconics down, they each grabbed an Iconic by the, I think they were holding them by the arm, if I recall correctly. And basically, or honestly, with the impressiveness, my memory is saying the leg. It might have been the leg.
Okay.
But I don't remember exactly. But basically, Nia and Tamina basically each grabbed an Iconic by a limb and basically just repeatedly swung them into the cage. Just boom, 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 just over and over again.
Damn.
Yeah, and in sync with each other on two sides of the chamber, mind you.
How were the Iconics still alive after that?
Well, they weren't for very long. They got tossed in the ring and pinned immediately following.
Okay. Who pinned them?
Let's see here. It's actually both, because each of them hit a Samoan drop on an Iconic, and they were pinned simultaneously.
Okay, so they both get the points for the elimination. Fair enough.
Yeah. So, Iconics.
So you want to give them OMG for that?
Yeah, I think that was really impressive when Nia and Tamina did that. Give them each an OMG.
Okie doke.
Yeah. I'm not trying to jack my own points up, but Nia and Tamina did most of the OMGs to show off their power.
Okay. All right, so the Iconics.
Yes.
Peyton Royce,
Yes.
20 points.
What's her at 85?
Billy Kay,
Yes.
16 points.
Okay, that's 77, 83. Cool. Alrighty. So after the Iconics get utterly destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, can I just put you on both of these recaps for neither mentioning that amazing maneuver?
Fair.
That is sad.
That is.
Anyway, so following all of that, the two tougher members, sorry, let me correct myself here. Sorry. The Riot Squad decide that they're going to try to make a stand here.
Mm-hmm.
And they proceed to begin attacking Nia and Tamina.
Okay.
With double team moves, basically trying to put both of them on each one of them in succession to keep them off balance. Basically trying to work in tandem.
Okay.
This works, and they manage to get Tamina down, but Nia breaks up the pinfall. Sonya Deville then starts throwing kicks at Nia Jax, and then Mandy Rose hit a running knee to the face after she was on one knee.
Mm.
At this point, Boss and Hug managed to get back into the fight, and they throw knee attacks at Tamina.
So basically, it's everyone versus Nia and Tamina.
Pretty much, yeah. They all realize who the major threat here is.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's Bailey and Banks do a double team slam on Liv Morgan, and then a double slam on Sarah Logan, which gets a 2 count. Bailey slingshots Deville into a turnbuckle, and Mandy Rose moved out of the way of a move attempt. So Sasha hit a double knee attack on both Mandy and Sonya. So technically that's a double finisher to Sasha, if I recall correctly.
So was that like an OMG then for the double finisher?
Yeah, that'd be an OMG for a double finisher from Sasha.
Okay.
Double finishers always count as OMGs in the games, and we follow those rules. So I'll put that down.
All right.
Anyways, so Jackson and Tamina get up, and they put down Bailey and Banks with running attacks. Logan and Morgan climb a pod. Nia Jax then whips Mandy Rose into the cage, which led to the Riot Squad jumping off the pod with crossbody blocks onto some of the other ladies, and a 2 count is gotten on Sonya Deville. Nia Jax then proceeds to Samoan drop Liv Morgan off the second rope. And Tamina then went up and connected on the Superfly Splash on Liv Morgan to eliminate the Riot Squad.
So Tamina eliminates Liv Morgan in the Riot Squad.
Correct.
Okay.
So Riot Squad.
All right. So Sarah Logan.
Okay.
Gets 13 points.
All right. Yes. Let's see. 108. Okay. So
Liv.
that's
Go ahead.
hang on, 108, 109. That's puts her at 111. Okay.
Liv Morgan gets 15 points.
Okay, sounds good. So that's going to be 106, and 5 is also 111.
And Ruby Riott gets 5 points for coming out with him.
Right, because I'm pretty sure she did escort them down before leaving, so we will get her points for that. 122. All righty.
All right.
Rolling on.
All right.
Now, here's an OMG, but I'm not sure who to award it to.
Okay.
So we end up outside of the ring area, and Bailey is leaning against the side of the cage, trying to recover herself, and Nia Jax proceeds to launch a running attack at her.
Okay.
Bailey sidesteps out of the way, and Nia Jax slams herself through a pod like a goddamn Mack truck. I mean, it was loud and it looked like it hurt. And they replayed it a bunch of times. I mean, it was enough that it literally took Nia out of the match. Like, that was the end of Nia Jax for tonight.
I don't know. That's difficult because technically Nia put herself through the pod.
Yeah.
But also technically she went through the pod because Bailey stepped out of the way.
Right. That's why I'm
technically it's the evasion that put her through the pod.
Yeah.
I technically probably give it to Bailey just because it's the evasion that put her through the pod.
Yeah, I would tend to. I was leaning in the same direction, to be honest. So note it for Bailey for later.
Got it.
So anyway, Nia goes through a pod and proceeds to remove herself from the duration of this match. Okay. Meanwhile, in the ring, Sasha Banks hit the double knee Meteora onto Tamina. Bailey then connected with the big elbow drop off the top rope. And then in addition to Bailey and Sasha, the other remaining the non-absolution jump on two, and all 4 women proceed to pin Tamina.
Really?
Yeah.
So all 4 should get the elimination for that, right?
Yeah, because all 4 of them pinned Tamina, because Sasha and Bailey got her down and were on there, and then the other 2 jumped on to make sure Tamina stayed down.
Stay down, bitch! Elimination. Got it?
Got it?
Got it.
All right, Nia and Tamina.
All right. So Nia, we'll go with her first.
Who was protected by not getting pinned.
Gets 22 points.
All right, so that's 96, 106, puts her at 216.
And Tamina gets 25 points.
All right, and 25 will be that puts her at 134. Bada boom. All right, they are removed. So the fans were chanting yes as we got down to the final 2 teams. And so as the fight raged on, so the 4 men women get brawling in the middle of the ring. And Bailey and Sasha are able to connect with their double team finisher.
What's their double team finisher?
I can't remember if they have a name for that yet or not.
Is it the Bailey to belly backstabber?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
So they managed to connect with this on Sonya Deville, rather. But they only get a 2 because Mandy Rose leaps in and literally breaks it up at the last possible millisecond.
Okay.
Wait, where the hell? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to say there's one more OMG. Okay. So anyway, this is awesome chant came up.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mandy Rose climbed up to the top of a pod with Bailey and Sasha chasing her up there.
Mm-hmm.
So that Corey Graves could scream, "See, this is where it happened last time. Right here, watch Sasha stab Bailey in the back."
Okay.
That did not happen.
Obviously.
And so the ladies all fought on top of the pod.
Mm-hmm.
They teased like they were going to double suplex Mandy Rose off the pod, but that did not happen.
Okay.
Sonya Deville went up to save her partner and started trying to pull Bailey down off the pod. And Bailey kicked her down, while Rose then kicked Bailey down while she was distracted. So Bailey fell down. And then in an OMG to Sonya Deville, you can note this.
Okay.
Now, as Bailey comes down and lands back on her feet, Sonya Deville proceeds to pick Bailey up in like a it wasn't quite a spear. It was more like she's almost like she picked her up like she was going to do a spine buster.
Okay.
And instead what she did was she picked Bailey up and ran full tilt and slammed Bailey's spine first into the support beam of the pod.
Oh.
That did not look like it felt good.
Oh, that doesn't sound like it felt good.
No, that was not good at all. Like, Bailey just went down a hole in the back there. So that left Sonya in a 2-on-1 situation. I'm sorry, Sasha in a 2-on-1 situation.
Okay.
And so Sasha managed to get off the pod to check on Bailey briefly. The Not Absolution chose to leave her alone for a minute for whatever reason.
Okay.
And so while she was checking out Bailey, Mandy Rose got up behind Sasha and then whipped her into the adjacent pod on the other side. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Mandy Rose hit her finishing maneuver, the double underhook sit-out slam.
Okay.
I'm assuming it has a name, but I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But she hits the finisher, gets a 2 count on that. Sasha barely kicks out. And Sonya Deville then went to the corner and set up for a spear.
Mm-hmm.
But Sasha Banks' reflexes were a bit too quick. She moved out of the way, and Sonya speared Mandy Rose by mistake.
Oops.
So yeah, that was an oops. So when that happened, Sasha Banks then proceeded to grab Sonya Deville and grab the backstabber into the bank statement. But Sasha had a problem with the bank statement because of her arm being slammed through a pod earlier in the match. She couldn't lock it in because the arm was too weak. So Sasha, being an incredible innovator, what she did was she used her good arm to pull the good arm to pull her face back, and since she couldn't use the left arm to pull the face back,
Mm-hmm.
what she did was she locked the right hand in, and then grabbed her left leg, pulled her leg around up, and used her left leg and right arm to lock in the bank statement.
Wow.
Which was rather impressive, and this earned the submission victory for the Boss and Hug Connection and the new WWE Women's Tag Team Championship.
Okay, then. Give me 1 second.
Go for it.
Now, for tag teams, the member who doesn't get the pinfall does not get the specialty win points, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
They do, however, both get full championship win points.
Yes. Alrighty then. So let's go over to Sonya Deville.
Okay.
23 points.
Okay. 34. Okay.
Right, Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose.
It's 17 points.
Okay, that's 59. 166.
All right.
All right.
Bailey.
Bailey.
It's a whopping 81 points.
91. So it's 81. That's 91, 101, 111, and another 9. It's 120. So it puts Bailey at 320.
Damn.
All right.
And your winner, Sasha Banks.
Yes.
102 points.
Okay, that goes 243 plus 343. All right.
Damn, son.
There you go. All right. So that was that match. So once the match was over, Charlie Caruso climbed into the ring and proceeded to interview the new champions.
Mm-hmm.
And the fans gave them the "You Deserve It" chant.
Okay.
And Sasha said that they're there for a purpose, and that they will continue to do what they do best, and that's entertain the people. They are the Balls and Out Connection, the new women's tag team champions. And they held up their titles. They hugged. People cheered. The commentators talked about how big of a moment this was.
So 5 points promo to the two of them?
Correct. Bailey. What the hell's Bailey? There we go. 25. Okay. So we stick the chamber back in the ceiling, and presumably some elves or whoever's up there in charge repair the pods.
Hey, question. And I probably should have asked this beforehand.
Okay.
Because I know we haven't been doing this, but it just occurs to me.
Uh-huh.
We have it set for 15 points to be on the winning team, right?
Correct.
However, it occurs to me we don't have an adjustment for that for pay-per-view because it's 30 points for winning a pay-per-view match. So it occurs to me, should being on the winning team not also be adjusted for pay-per-view points?
We've never done that before, but it's certainly something worth considering for the future. I'm not going to amend it right now.
Fair.
Because we already scored, but we can definitely discuss that for future pay-per-views.
Fair. Because it feels like if the person who actually wins the match is getting 30 points and the one who doesn't actually get the pin only gets 15, I feel like we're shortchanging that person on their win at a pay-per-view.
I suppose that's true. But the problem is normally like I said, normally it's 15 and 20, so
yeah.
It would end up having to be 25 and 30 if we were doing it the same way, but it would still be. But given that it's higher numbers, I feel like the gap should be more. So maybe like 20 and 30. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We can talk
about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk to Tiff about it. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. To another promo, apparently.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yeah, so the SmackDown announce team took over. A video package aired.
So in other words, Corey Graves went absolutely nowhere.
Hyping up the SmackDown hyping up the SmackDown tag title match. Mm-hmm. And then we came back out, and The Miz entered. And he congratulated Sasha and Bailey for winning the women's tag titles. And The Miz announced that he was dedicating this match to his dad, his daughter, and his wife. And Maurice then came out to the stage. Mm-hmm. She was with him. And Miz gives her the microphone, and Maurice takes the microphone long enough to announce that they are having another baby. Mm. Which The Miz is thrown by the people. The people cheer for this very loudly. And The Miz announced that he was also dedicating this match to his unborn child.
Fair. So 5 points to The Miz and Maurice?
Yes. The Miz also then followed it up with a, And he said, let's bring out Shane. Let's do this. And then Shane came out, and Shane hugged them both and congratulated Maurice. And then Shane and Miz headed down to the ring for the match. So promo to the Miz and Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
Maurice's only points so far this season. Uh, 183. Okay. So the Usos then made their entrance.
Mm-hmm. Oos.
Oh. And there's a note here on the job report that apparently it was a rather rough week for Jimmy, who got arrested in Detroit after an argument with a police officer.
Okay, then.
Not a major thing, but still kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we then have ourselves a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match.
Playa.
And so the Miz started off. They were wearing their Miz and Mac jerseys, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And Miz started off for a short while, but then tagged out to Shano. The Usos attempt a double super kick right off the bat, and Miz ducks out of the way. Is like, oh, hell no. And Miz goes over to the corner to talk to Shane. So Shane tags in. And props to Shane, because I know he can do a lot of stuff. I didn't expect this.
Okay.
Shane proceeds to straight up open up the match with a sunset flip over the rope over one of the Usos into a roll-up.
Okay, then. Well, I guess he's a high flyer / cruiserweight.
Or the equivalent thereof.
Dude, his finishing moves are the coast-to-coast dropkick and the fucking shooting star press. He's a goddamn high flyer.
That's true. So anyway, once Shane was in control of the match, the Miz tagged back in and hit a running kick on Jay. Shane then came in with an elbow drop. That's a double team clothesline, sent Jay out of the ring. Then Jimmy got double team clotheslined out of the ring. One of the Usos Jay got back in, and the Miz worked him over with kicks against the turnbuckle. Jimmy got a tag and threw Miz throat first onto the top rope. Dropped him right on there. Jay with a running forearm against the turnbuckle and then a chin lock. They basically go back and forth exchanging holds and whips and maneuvers for a little while. And Shane managed to get a hot tag after Miz was getting beat up with a little while. And he had a jumping, basically a bro kick. And then a back body drop. Shane hit both Usos with DDTs and got a 2 count. After this is recovered, the Usos stumble to 2 adjacent corners, where Shane proceeds to head up one turnbuckle, coast-to-coast dropkick one Uso, then climb that turnbuckle and coast-to-coast dropkick the other Uso. So, back-to-back coast-to-coasts.
Fair.
Oh, hang on a minute. Let me amend that.
Okay.
Shane hit the coast-to-coast on Jimmy, went up the other turnbuckle, went off the coast-to-coast onto Jay, but Jay popped up and super kicked him out of the air. So, catch finisher.
So Jay should get +3 for actually countering the coast-to-coast.
Correct.
Any extra points for it being a catch finisher, or is it just 1 point for the move?
No, we don't give extra points for that. It's just cool.
Fair enough. Continue.
Anyway, so after this happens, Shane gets Jay goes up top and hits a superfly splash, gets a 2 on Shane. Miz makes a save. Miz then tags in with a double axe on Jay, boot to the face, but Jay hits him with a Samoa drop. Then does some running attacks. Miz moves out of the way and Jay crashes into a turnbuckle. Miz then hits him with a DDT, gets a 2 off that. Running dropkick sends Jay to the floor. Miz then climbed out of the ring and proceeded to clear off the center announce table, the main one. And he then pointed at Shane in the ring and told him to get on the top rope. The Miz then... let me amend myself before this happened. Miz was clearing off the announce table. Jimmy went for a suicide dive out of the ring. And Miz kind of moved to the side, and Jay accidentally Jimmy hit Jay by mistake.
Oops.
Off the suicide dive. So with Jay down, the Miz then grabs Jimmy from behind. He kicked Jimmy's leg out from under him, and he went down. Miz then picked him up and put him on the announce table and told Shane to go up top. He then punched Jay in the face a bunch of times to keep him on the table. Shane then did a slow climb and then did the big, what does he call the elbow drop?
Whose elbow drop?
Shane's, the one through the table.
The leap of faith?
That's it. Shane hits the leap of faith that puts Jay through the table.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so +1 for the leap of faith. +5 for the table spot.
Yep. So we'll add that in. So anyway, that got a holy shit chant. Miz and Jimmy managed to get themselves back in the ring because they were the legal men anyway. And they start going for pinfalls on each other. And eventually, Jimmy hits a super kick, goes for the superfly splash, but Miz gets the knees up and counters it into an inside cradle for a 2. And Miz then hits a skull-crushing finale on Jimmy. Gets a 2 count, but during the pinfall, Jimmy hooked Miz's arms, rolled him over, and managed to pin the Miz.
Okay, then.
And thus the Usos are your SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Fair. So, Miz.
Yep.
21 points to Miz.
Miz.
Yep.
That's 84, 94, 204. All right.
Shane McMahon.
Yes.
24 points.
Okay. That's 174.
All right. Jey Uso.
All right.
58 points.
And that puts him at 188.
And Jimma.
Yeah, man.
71 points for the winner.
81 is 91, and 4 is 195. All right. Rolling on. After the match, the Usos under the titles. Miz and Shane were in the ring very sad about the loss, and they just kind of consoled each other. Shane put his arm around Miz, and they walked out of the ring together, and the audience was clearly in support of them. Fastlane commercial. The same video that's been being showed all week of Paige plugging and showing the trailer for Fighting With My Family. We come backstage to Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush.
Okay.
Where Dasha Fuentes may have single-handedly cost them the match.
Okay.
Because Dasha Fuentes walks up to them to talk about, and basically, she talks about, what are you guys' feelings going into this handicap match tonight? Do you think you have the advantage, being it's a 2-on-1 situation? And Lio Rush replied that, of course we have the advantage, because nobody is more dominant than Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. And Dasha Fuentes, and by the way, real good props to Bobby Lashley here, by the way, because Lashley did not say a word in this promo.
Okay.
But Bobby Lashley's facial expressions were perfect.
Okay.
As Dasha Fuentes asks Lio Rush, now Lio Rush, Do you think you being in this match actually hinders Bobby Lashley? I mean, Finn Balor has pinned you 2 weeks in a row, and theoretically, Finn Balor could pin you, and Lashley could lose his title without ever getting pinned. You know, his entire reign. And basically, she keeps harping on this for several minutes about how Lio Rush could be targeted as the weak point. And if Bobby Lashley were to get indisposed, then Lio Rush could cost Lashley his own title. And you see Lashley's facial expressions turning from confidence to, shit, she's right. As Lio Rush continues trying to defend this as if this is not a possibility.
Nice.
It was very well done. Very good facial acting on the part of Bobby Lashley.
Fair.
So promo to those two gentlemen. I'm gonna give Bobby Lashley full promo because of his facial expressions.
Fair.
$21 and then Lio Rush. $243. We then come back to the Raw commentators as Lashley and Lio Rush made their entrance. And of course, we had to see the other, for those of you keeping score at home, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other language commentary teams.
Of course.
As you do. For the record, those are Portuguese, Russians, Japanese, Hindi, French, and Mandarin.
Fair.
And of course, directly at ringside is the main English table, plus the Spanish table and the Russian table is the other one that's usually there. So I know the Russian was in the back. Who was the one next to them then? Because they would have the Spanish on one side. I wonder who the one was on the other side of them.
Don't know.
The language isn't covered here because one of them was a Spanish one, obviously, but what was the other one? Oh, it was probably like the Arabic table because they like Saudi Arabia now.
Fair enough.
That would make sense to me. Anyway, and there was kind of a funny moment here where they were going through all the different commentators do their thing. It was like the Portuguese, Russian, the Japanese, and Furaki, you know. And they get to the Hindi one, and the Hindi guys don't stop.
Okay.
Like 2 or 3 times. Michael Cole keeps trying to introduce the next team, and the Hindi guys are just still talking. It was pretty funny. Anyway, Finn Balor came out and got a great pop as per the usual. And we have ourselves a handicap Intercontinental Championship match.
Fair enough.
So Balor got some offense in early and knocked Bobby Lashley out to the floor. Lashley got back in the ring and threw Balor face first into the turnbuckle. Balor countered with a jumping kick to the head. Lio Rush, basically the idea was that Lashley was wrestling Finn Balor and Lio Rush was just running interference. And so Lio Rush had a distraction. Balor hit a sunset flip on Lashley and stomped on his ribs. Back body drop sent Lashley over the top to the floor. Balor then ran the ropes, but Lio Rush grabbed his foot so he couldn't do a suicide dive. He then chased Lio Rush, which led to him running into Lashley, who slammed Balor into the barricade. Then slammed his spine first onto the side of the apron. Basically just beat him up for a while. Lio Rush tagged in and hit a bunch of kicks. When Balor got back up, Rush tagged Lashley back in, and Lashley took Balor back down for a 2 count. Hit him with a flatliner for another 2. Lio Rush tagged it again. Abdominal stretch. Balor countered with a hip toss, threw Lio Rush across the ring. He broke free again, and Lashley tagged back in, some shoulder tackles, then a running shoulder tackle, then a one-arm spine buster. Lio Rush then tagged himself in, and Lashley did not like this. And Lio Rush then missed a frog splash because Balor moved out of the way. Balor then grabbed Lio Rush, punched him in the head, and hit a double foot stomp. Then Balor hit a sling blade on Bobby Lashley and clotheslined him out of the ring. then sent Lio Rush out of the ring, hit a suicide dive on both men, threw Lio Rush back in the ring, running drop kick to the turnbuckle, coup de grace, and your new Intercontinental Champion, Finn Balor.
Fair.
And commentators immediately seize on. Look at Balor with the smart strategy. When he had both men down, it was Lio Rush he threw back in the ring and took advantage of.
Yep.
And of course, once the bell rings and Bobby Lashley from the round realizes what's happened, the look on his eyes. He was not pleased.
I can imagine.
So Balor left with the title, and that left Lashley and Rush alone in the ring. Lashley looked pissed off because he didn't get pinned to leave the title. He grabbed Lio Rush by the throat as the fans cheered. When he let him go, the fans booed. So then Lashley paused for a minute by the ropes, then picked Lio Rush up again and hit him with that one-arm spine buster.
Fair. The Dominator?
I guess.
His finishing move?
Yeah, I'm presuming it was. And then Lashley left Lio Rush lying in the ring.
Fair.
Points.
So Bobby Lashley
All right.
gets 18 points.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. So 51 and 8 is 259.
Lio Rush
Okay.
gets 13 points.
All right. Is 256. Okay.
It should probably also be noted.
Yep.
Lio Rush,
Mhm.
I believe, aside from the some championship matches, first member of the 205 Live roster to legitimately have a match on a pay-per-view on the main roster.
Nice.
If you don't count, like, main roster talent going to 205 Live and then fighting for the title. Enzo Amore and Neville, and like all Neville's matches obviously were on the main, or most of them were on the main card. No, I don't think there was maybe only like one that was on the pre-show.
Fair enough.
Which was the WrestleMania match of all matches. What the fuck? But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, your winner, Finn Balor.
Yes.
101 points.
Hell yeah. Whoops, I just minimized that. My bad, let me
job.
fix that. Sorry, folks. I'll minimize it first, then I can do it. There we go. Okay, you said 101 points to Finn Balor?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So that's 101 is going to be 22. That's going to put Finn Balor at 422 and a commanding lead.
Okay, then.
All right.
Continue.
The announcers, this was announced a couple days before, but the announcers remind us, being that they're in Houston, that also coming to Houston next year will be the Royal Rumble 2020, which will be over at Minute Maid Park, home of the Houston Astros.
Okay, then.
So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Commercial for the Mark Henry documentary. A clip from when Becky got suspended. They then, interestingly enough, they actually showed a clip from a house show. Because it was a SmackDown house show the night before where Becky showed up and attempted to attack Charlotte Flair, but Flair attacked Becky's injured left knee and then assaulted her knee with chair shots.
Okay, then.
So anyway, cutting back into the arena, Charlotte Flair makes her entrance in street clothes. And she entered the ring and got interviewed by Charlie Caruso. And she said that she was going to go to WrestleMania and that she's going to do what she loved last night. When she got to do what she loved last night when she beat up Becky Lynch. And she mocked Becky for needing the approval of the fans who booed her. And she said that when she looks in the mirror, the reflection gives her all the love and approval that she needs because she knows that she is the very best on Raw, SmackDown, and in the entire WWE. The fans chanted Becky to try to shut her up. And she said that she's going to go sit ringside to see this Ronda Rousey match to see who she's going to main event, who's going to main event WrestleMania against the Queen. Charlotte then pointed at the WrestleMania sign and then took a seat at ringside.
So 5 points to Charlotte for a promo.
Yes.
And since you're doing it, 5 points. Another 5 points to Charlotte for commentary.
Yeah, the equivalent of commentary.
So 10 points total to Charlotte.
Yes. That's right, 112.
All right.
We then had a Raw Women's Championship match.
It looked like it was complete shit because Ruby only had 2 moves, apparently. 3 moves.
Well, Ruby Riott came out, accompanied by the Riott Squad.
Okay.
And Rousey then made her entrance, looking very serious. By the way, as soon as this match started, you knew that Ruby Riott was fucked.
Okay.
Ruby Riott was fucked beyond fucked.
Okay.
Because Riott Squad came out and got ready. Then the music hit. Rowdy Ronda Rousey did not come out.
Okay.
Sonya fucking Blade walked out.
What? They gave her Sonya Blade outfit?
Yeah.
Wow, really? They're trying to push the fact that she's the new voice of Sonya Blade?
Yep.
So what'd they do? Give her a new scissor submission?
No. Just the outfit.
No.
So anyway, Ronda Blade walked out and proceeded to get in a ring. And Ruby Riott attempted to get an advantage with an early attack, throwing a kick and some punches, but Ronda Rousey countered with 2 arm wringers that bailed out to the floor for a minute. Ruby Riott stalled on the floor after bailing, and as soon as she got back in the ring, she ate a forearm, a kick, got taken down, ate a Piper's Pit. Ronda pointed at the WrestleMania side, and then proceeded to rip Ruby's arm off till she screamed submission.
Okay, then. And the Riott Squad did nothing.
Pretty much.
Wow, you fail. Ruby, you need to get new friends.
I'm pretty sure that they were there, but I could be wrong about that. Let me see here. Everything's only mentioning Charlotte at ringside, so maybe Ruby was alone.
That would explain it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ruby was alone because nothing in either one is mentioning the squad.
Fair. Well, considering they got killed inside a chamber just a few moments ago.
Yeah.
So, Ruby Riott.
Yes.
11 points, which makes me sad.
How sad.
That's okay. Daniel Bryan will make up for it.
Mm-hmm. You were not wrong. All right. Would you say 11?
Mm-hmm.
But you're at 133.
Ronda Blade.
Yes.
68 points.
All right. Let's see. So 5 and 8. So let's see. 60 would be 410, 418, and 5 is 423. That may or may not have put her ahead of Finn Balor.
All right. And it looks like we have some post-match stuff.
Yes, we do. So following the match, Charlotte proceeds to get up from her ringside chair and stare Ronda down from the floor. As Ronda, title on her shoulder again, stares Charlotte down from the ring. Charlotte then proceeds to walk up the stairs and climb into the ring and stare Ronda down face to face on an equal level. However, as these two are just kind of staring each other down like, yeah, we're going to do this at WrestleMania, there's a sudden pop from the crowd. Camera cuts over and Becky Lynch on crutches is forcing her way through the crowd. Becky Lynch proceeds to crutch her way down through the crowd, down the ramps, around through the timekeeper's area because she's on crutches and can't climb a barricade. And she forces her way around through the timekeeper's area to the ringside area. She then proceeds to toss one crutch in the ring and basically use her left arm and her good left leg to try to pull herself up onto the apron and roll herself into the ring with the other crutch. And meanwhile, the entire time Becky is marching down here, Corey Graves is screaming bloody murder about where the fuck is security? How is she in here? She's suspended. This is horse shit. And shockingly, Michael Cole is actually agreeing with him on this one. He's like, for once I'm with you, Corey. She's suspended for unleashing all this unnecessary, unleashing unnecessary violence on authority figures around here. She does not belong here.
Though, to be fair, she did apologize, and her apology was accepted, so...
Yeah, but not by the man in charge.
No, but by the people that she hit, so still...
Oh. Anyway, Becky gets in the ring and pulls herself back up onto her crutches. And Charlotte has moved to the center of the ring. So now, from camera position, Ronda is on the left facing Becky. Becky's on the right facing Ronda. Charlotte is in the center facing the camera.
Okay.
So all three women stare each other down. And so fans began chanting, "She's the man," very loudly when Becky got in the ring.
Okay.
And so, meanwhile, Charlotte just is kind of looking at Becky like pathetically, like, look at you. You're living down here the hell on crutches. What is wrong with you? So, Becky Lynch, showing that she knows how to play the game, no Triple H pun intended, proceeds to toss one of her crutches at Charlotte, which disorients her. Becky then takes the other crutch and starts beating the shit out of Charlotte with it.
Okay.
Showing that while Becky does still have a slight limp in her leg, she's not nearly as injured as she was leading people to believe. As she came out with the crutch. She starts just viciously beating Charlotte with a crutch. Charlotte kind of collapses into the bottom right corner from camera position as Becky's just beating her down with a crutch. And so as she's doing this, Ronda's just holding title over. She's just kind of standing there watching this assault. And Becky then kind of stands back for a second and waves a hand, basically offering Ronda to pick up the other crutch on the ground if she'd like to take some shots. And Ronda does put her title down and pick up the other crutch and makes her way towards Charlotte in the corner looking at the crutch. And the audience is like, yeah, do it. Hit her. Hit her. So Ronda takes a couple steps towards Charlotte. Yeah, I'm going to hit her. Becky then smashes Ronda in the back with her crutch, starts beating the shit out of Ronda with a crutch.
Okay, then.
So she beat her down with a crutch, hit Charlotte a couple more times for good measure. And basically, referees and security guys finally figured out, oh, wait, there's somebody that's not supposed to be here in the ring. We should probably do something about that. So referees and security guys come running from the back and get in the ring and begin trying to restrain Becky Lynch. After what John Canton is telling me was a total of 30 crutch shots between the two women.
Damn.
And Becky Lynch, the crowd gives her a giant ovation and a Becky chant as she's being led away by security guys. I like the description here. Lynch was taken away by two security guys that are really indie wrestlers in a vision that reminded us, a lot of us, of Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm sure. So Becky is led away as Charlotte and Ronda are left lying in the ring looking injured and hurt. But not so much that Ronda isn't able to pull her head up and stare daggers at Becky Lynch like she's going to murder her. Spoilers, it's a WrestleMania triple threat match. At least that's what I'm hearing.
Makes sense at this point.
Yeah.
Just bullshit because Becky deserves her one-on-one. Fuck you, Vince.
Yep.
Fucking old man needs to fucking die already.
Anyway.
Well, it's the only way he's ever going to give up control of WWE.
Yeah. Well, the XFL launches next year. He'll be distracted.
Yeah, for about the 1 month that it's going to live, and then it'll just die again on its sword like it did last time.
Yeah. Well, the other advantage is that once SmackDown moves on to Fox, he's going to be beholden to a higher power than himself to put out quality content.
He still won't give a shit. He's already got their money. He doesn't care.
I don't think yet, because they can rescind the contract and demand their money back if he doesn't honor the details of the contract. And I don't think they get paid the lump sum up front. They get paid in payments over the course of time.
Fair.
Anyway, that's an assault to Becky Lynch and
a weapon use, so that's 7 points to Becky Lynch.
Yep. Maybe 12. All right.
And now Tiff has minis to Charlotte and Ronda for staring daggers at each other, but I don't think that constitutes a mini at all because they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree.
Fair.
All right.
On the final match on my card,
Yes.
Braun Strowman gets fucking buried like hell.
Yeah. That's about right.
He got buried so far that Tiff didn't even bother to total his points.
Wait, how did he get buried?
Well, he lost the match.
No, he didn't.
He didn't?
Nope.
How come Tiff has Corbin with the pay-per-view win points?
Because Corbin won the match.
Yeah, so I said Braun lost the match then. That's what I said.
Yeah, but you said Corbin got buried.
No, I said Braun. I said Braun got buried so far that Tiff didn't even bother to total his points.
No, you said Corbin got buried so far.
Oh, well, I meant Braun.
Play back the recording when we're done.
But give me a minute. I have to... What the fuck? I have to total Braun's points because he doesn't have a total.
Okay.
That's how shit he is.
To be fair, though, it wasn't Braun's fault.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
Okay. Get some air in this room here. It's a little warm.
Mm.
Air. All right. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Back over here. So, the gentleman came out. This is a no disqualification match, by the way.
Yes.
And so Corbin started things off with a kendo stick.
Mm-hmm.
I was needed to attack Braun with a kendo stick. Strowman managed to take control back by throwing Corbin into the turnbuckle and taking his kendo stick away. Braun Strowman then snapped the kendo stick in half with his bare hands because he didn't need it.
Apparently he did because he lost the match.
Yeah, well, again, not his fault.
Well, kind of is his fault. He should have seen it coming.
Seen what coming?
The big, massive beatdown on him.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so they left the ring, and Corbin took control by hitting Strowman with the steel steps a bunch of times. He then mocked Braun, and then when he got back in the ring, he punched Strowman in the face, and Strowman replied with a punch to the jaw and a big boot. Renee Young was getting very excited at Baron Corbin getting assaulted, and Michael Cole reminded her that she's supposed to be an impartial commentator, which is hilarious.
Yep.
It's like, oh, impartial. I'm sorry, Michael. Would you like me to roll it back a couple of years and play about 8 straight months of you sucking the Mrs. Cock?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so following all of this, Braun Strowman went under the ring and grabbed a table. And he was needed to put the table in the ring against the turnbuckle. Corbin went for an attack off of the ropes, and Strowman grabbed him and power slammed him through the table.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
So, table spot.
Table spot. Corbin power slammed through a corner table.
Got it.
So, right after this happened, however, Drew McIntyre's music hits.
Okay.
And he proceeds to walk down to the ring, steel chair in hand.
Okay.
This isn't followed up by Bobby Lashley, who must have come through the crowd because he's suddenly in the ring behind Strowman.
Okay.
And he also has a chair, and he hits Braun in the back with his chair. McIntyre slides in the other side, and they begin beating Braun Strowman with chairs.
Okay, then.
And they worked him over with chair shots. And when Strowman finally managed to get back to his feet, Bobby Lashley hit him with a spear.
Okay, then.
The gentleman then went outside the ring and grabbed the lower section of the steel ring steps and brought it into the ring.
Okay.
And placed said ring step section in the center of the ring. Braun Strowman attempted to fight back, but Baron Corbin hit him in the back with a chair again, keeping him in their control.
Mm-hmm.
Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre then brought 2 tables into the ring.
Okay.
McIntyre then hit Strowman with a Claymore kick to keep him down. The heels then stacked the 2 tables on top of each other by the steel steps.
Mm-hmm.
They then moved Braun Strowman over to where Lashley was, and Lashley proceeded to climb on top of the steel stairs, and Corbin and McIntyre assisted Lashley in setting up a Shield-esque triple powerbomb off the top of the steps through 2 tables.
Jesus.
Like I said, it wasn't really Braun's fault.
So that's OMG points for the trio of mediocrity.
Yeah. No, the duo of mediocrity and Drew McIntyre, who's stuck in a rut right now. Let's be fair.
Tell me what I said. The trio of mediocrity. And I have Drew.
I know. I like Drew.
I like Drew too, but let's be honest. He's mediocre at best in the WWE. He always has been, always will be, because Vince doesn't give a shit about him.
Well, it's his positioning in the company is mediocre. His skills are not mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
He's great on the ring and great on the mic. It's not his fault that they don't push him. So anyway, following the massive triple powerbomb off steps through 2 tables, Baron Corbin got the pinfall.
Mm-hmm.
Points.
So,
if you would be so kind.
Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley.
Okay, who do you want first?
Doesn't matter. They both have the same amount of points.
Okay, well, Drew McIntyre.
10 points.
Okay. You'd think that would have been more than that. Fair enough.
Well, OMG, 2 moves, and the steel chair.
How about 6 for an interference?
Oh yeah, I forgot about interference. Whoops, my bad. 16 points to the 2 of them. I forgot about interference. Good call.
Yeah.
She forgot about interference too.
That's fair. All right, so 16 points. That's going to be 46. Another 6 is 252. Mm-hmm. And then 16 points up here to Bobby Lashley. Is basically going to be 275. All right. And Braun!
18 points for getting buried.
Right, that becomes 44, and then 8 would be 6, would be 152.
And Baron Corbin with a lot more points than he deserves.
Yeah.
65 points.
Okay, so 65, that's going to be 311. And a top 10 spot. Baron Corbin is 1 point behind Becky Lynch, and that is sad.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Becky Lynch isn't getting pushed for the same reason Drew McIntyre is getting pushed, and it is kind of their fault, even though it's not anything they could have, like, it's nothing they can affect, but it's still their fault. And it's the fact that they have accents, because let's be honest, it's a well-known fact Vince McMahon and his cronies are fucking racist.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have an accent, they don't like you, and they don't care about you. To them, you're only marketable if you have no accent.
Mm.
Hence why Shinsuke is getting buried. Hence why there's like no marketable Japanese superstars. Like even Asuka, who's the women's champion, it's getting no fucking screen time. You have Drew McIntyre getting buried probably because of his Scottish accent. You have Becky, who they've gone on record as saying the reason they're not pushing her is because of her accent, because they don't like it.
I think they're pushing her. I think they're pushing her.
Well, they are now. They kind of have to, but they didn't for the longest time, because it went on record as Kevin Dunn saying Kevin Dunn just did not like her accent, and because he didn't like her accent, by proxy, Vince didn't like her accent.
Fair enough.
The biggest reason people don't get pushed is either because they can't really speak English that well, a lot of the Japanese people, or because the white men in charge don't like the accents.
Finn Balor was the first ever Universal Champion.
Yeah, for one night until he had to give it up, and then guess what? When he came back, they still didn't give it back to him. He barely got into the race, but he was never a credible threat. He was never, no one ever looked at him and said, "Oh yeah, he's going to win the title." No, everyone looked at him and said, "Yeah, you're not going anywhere because Vince doesn't care about you." Vince also thought he was boring and shit too, but I'm sure the accent was also part of it because Becky Lynch.
Which is kind of hilarious when you think about it.
No,
because even though it was only mid card and now tag team, Kofi Kingston got over like shit by being forced to adopt a fake accent.
I think he got more over when he accidentally let it slip and started being himself. I think that got him more over than that fake accent ever did. But yeah.
To be fair, Triple H did give him a hand with that.
True.
Do you remember the night?
Yes. Kofi, what happened to your accent? I thought you were supposed to be Jamaican.
Oh, come on. He has said it with more, with more than that. Like, wait a minute. What happened to your accent? Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican? He was in DX mode. He was energetic.
No, that's true.
Anyway.
He was also about 10 years younger.
That too. Anyway. Then again, that doesn't stop him from out-promoing 2/3 of the roster.
Yep, and the sad thing is, he doesn't need the energy to do it because he's just that damned good.
Pretty much. Anyway, let's see. Video about the Special Olympics 2019 World Games in Abu Dhabi. Okay. Replay of Miz and Shane losing earlier in the night. We go to a locker room where Shane is getting looked at by a doctor. And the Miz is upset about their title loss. Shane told him to calm down. It was going to be fine and that Miz should go home. And he'll see him on Tuesday. The Miz walked away angrily.
Okay.
So, promo to Shane and Miz.
Sure.
And da Miz. All right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, next up, Lacey Evans made an entrance in street clothes, walked down the ramp, then walked back up the ramp and left. She's been doing that. She's been doing that recently.
Okay.
So, mini promo to Lacey Evans.
Okay.
They've been doing that.
Vince and his weird shit.
They did a thing on Raw where that happened too, where she came out, did her little walk, and then back up to the ramp. And Heavy Machinery happened to be out there at the time when she did this because they were being interviewed.
Mhm.
And so Heavy Machinery kind of looked at her out there doing this, and they proceeded to respond by doing a bushwhacker's walk down the ramp and then back up the ramp around her.
Okay, then.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. We'll talk about that more on Saturday. Anyway, so next up, we have a graphic reminding us WrestleMania is 49 days away. The SmackDown announce team reminded us of the matches that we know so far for WrestleMania, that being Brock versus Seth, Ronda versus Charlotte. Commercials for Shop and Fastlane. And the Chamber is lowered for our main event. We have our introductions for the men in the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So Kofi came out first, then Jeff Hardy, Orton, AJ entered the pods. Then Samoa Joe came out to be one of the first men to start the match. And then Daniel Bryan, the WWE Champion, who was also starting the match, came out last.
Fair.
Rowan accompanied Daniel Bryan down to the ringside area. And Bryan proceeded to grab a microphone on the way down and complained about being the first in the Elimination Chamber, the first in the gauntlet, and basically having to, be first in all this stuff, and it's not fair. The referees came up and informed him that Rowan was going to have to go back to the back, and he reluctantly did so.
Okay.
Daniel Bryan said that he didn't want us to call him a martyr, but he's suffering for the greater good, while the small-minded people repeat one stupid phrase over and over again. And the fans were chanting "what" at him while he said this. He said that the people and the planet need him, and that there is still hope that Bryan will raise the championship and still be the WWE champion after this match. Bryan then got in, and we opened up the match.
Fair.
Throw Daniel Bryan a promo real quick. Get that out of the way.
And Eric Rowan an accompaniment.
Yep. Yes, 73. All right. So we opened up the match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Daniel Bryan tried to avoid Joe, but that didn't really work because it's a chamber. And so Joe got a hold of Bryan, hit some chops, put him in a Boston Crab, then a crossface. Daniel Bryan managed to counter with a kick to Joe's knee to destabilize him for a minute. He then whipped Joe into the edge of a pod. They got into a slugfest with Bryan throwing a bunch of chops, but then Joe came back with chops of his own. And as was pointed out by the commentators, that even if these two men are choosing not to acknowledge it and keep wrestling, this hurts. You can see the red marks on both of these men's chests from these chops.
Fair.
Bryan's being much more visible than Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan threw Joe into the turnbuckle, and then a pod opened up, and it was Kofi.
Okay.
So Kofi came in, started throwing kicks at people, hit Bryan with a jumping attack, tried to DDT Joe, but he fought it off. Then, so he jumping kicked him in the face instead, and then hit Joe with a frog splash to the back from a keeled over position and got a 2 count on him. Bryan suplexed Kofi onto the turnbuckle and then went up with a jumping knee attack to the back of Kofi's neck for a 2 count. Joe then decked Bryan with another chop to the chest. Bryan climbed the pod and sat on it to let Joe and Kofi fight while he took a break. And so when Joe whipped Kofi to the corner, Kofi leapt up in one leap to the top turnbuckle and climbed onto the pod to go after Bryan. And he approached Bryan and punched him repeatedly. That Bryan and Kofi walked across the crossbeams on the side of the pod. Joe went after them, but Kofi kicked him down and then did a trust fall dive off the cage onto both men because Bryan had already come down. People chanted Kofi for that move. He followed up with a leapfrog and a back elbow on Daniel Bryan for a 2 count. Joe then hits a senton splash onto Daniel Bryan's back and then snap suplexes Kofi for a 2. Then throws more chops. AJ's pod opens next. And he unloads on everybody with strikes, including clotheslining Joe. He then elbows him in the face and hits a reverse DDT on Bryan. And a regular DDT on Kofi at the same time. Which is kind of cool looking. He then grabs a 2 count off of each man while they're down. The fans chant AJ Styles now. He then hits a forearm smash to Joe. Bryan starts climbing the chamber again, but AJ sees him and proceeds to pop off the rope and hit Daniel in the back of the head with a phenomenal forearm to knock him off the cage wall. Kofi then blocked a Styles clash with a kick to the head, and so Styles altered it into an Ushigarashi knee to the back of Kingston's neck for a 2. I don't even know what an Ushigarashi knee is.
Fair.
Samoa Joe then whipped AJ Styles into the cage and then hit a back body drop. He then locked Kofi in a coquina clutch, but he managed to use the ropes to flip himself over and pull Joe into a pinfall maneuver for a 2 count. AJ then got back into it and hit Joe with a phenomenal forearm as he was getting up and proceeded to pin Joe to eliminate him.
Aww.
Yep. So Joe.
Yes, how many points doth the Joe get?
Oh, right, I scored this match.
Yes, she did.
Okay, so let's see here. This is a main event specialty match. So based on this is 8 for being in a pay-per-view match, 3 for being in a specialty is 11, and then another 4 for being in the main event. So base of 15 for this match.
Okay.
So Joe will get the base 15, and 5 moves is 20 points to Joe.
Fair.
All right.
You're also going to be keeping track of OMGs for this match, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jeff Hardy then came out as the next man. He had a double leg drop and a low drop kick on AJ. Bryan came back in and Jeff kicked him out of the ring. He then hit a front suplex on Kofi, jumped on Kofi's back and over the top onto Bryan on the outside. Basically using Kofi as a step up to do a suicide dive.
Okay.
Which is cool. AJ countered with a Pele kick. And Daniel Bryan then whipped Kofi into the cage a few times while Jeff and AJ were battling on the top rope. With AJ hitting his waist on the rope itself. Daniel was working over Kofi's arm as Jeff Hardy put AJ Styles on the top turnbuckle. And then this is really impressive. This is probably an OMG to Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
Because here's what happened. So they were fighting on the, if you're looking from camera position, right hand, back right turnbuckle.
Okay.
So they're fighting on the top rope. Jeff Hardy manages to knock AJ down so that AJ lands abdomen first across the top rope.
Okay.
So basically, if you imagine he's laying from the rope, so his legs are hanging over the back side of the rope ring, and his arms and head are over the right side ropes. So
Mhm.
literally laying diagonally across in front of the turnbuckle on the ropes,
Okay.
face down.
Right.
Jeff Hardy proceeds to climb on top of the pod and do a swanton off the pod onto AJ on the ropes.
Ooh. Okay then.
Yes. So yeah. So I'm thinking Jeff Hardy needs an OMG for that.
Yes.
So I'll put that down. Now, unfortunately, Jeff Hardy made a minor miscalculation.
Okay.
Yes, he connected with the swanton, and AJ just kind of collapsed. And Jeff Hardy, after hitting it, lands on the ground, pulls himself up like, "Yeah, I did it," and immediately eats a Daniel Bryan knee to the face and gets pinned.
Oh. Okay then.
So Bryan with the running knee eliminates Jeff Hardy.
The knee plus.
Yes. So Jeff Hardy's points. Jeff Hardy is going to get himself the base 15 for being in this match, and OMG for the swanton onto the ropes off the pod is going to be 20. And then one move for the swanton itself is 21 points to Jeff Hardy. Is 34.
He doesn't get a point for that vaulting suicide dive off of Kofi.
Yeah, all right. 136. Fair. Anyway, so after that elimination, AJ Styles is still stuck in the. After he got hit with a freaking swanton, AJ kind of flipped over, but he fell backward. And his left leg got all caught up and tangled in the rope, and he was stuck upside down and couldn't get up. So AJ's dangling there for the ropes, trying to figure out how to get himself off. So to get himself off the ropes, so Bryan walks up and starts hits him with a running drop kick, and then basically kind of like that knocks AJ out. So Kofi comes up from behind. And Bryan throws Kofi into the turnbuckle, and kind of takes Kofi up to the top rope. And so Kofi Kingston was up there. Bryan went up top and was trying to superplex Kofi off the top rope. And AJ, from his position with his foot stuck in the ropes, managed to use his right foot to gain leverage, pulled himself up, grabbed Daniel Bryan around the waist, and hit Daniel Bryan with a German suplex while he was superplexing Kofi.
Okay then.
It was kind of a cool looking spot. So that was interesting.
I assume no extra points for any of that.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just a cool looking spot. It's not like it's OMG or anything.
Yeah, it's not really just a cool spot. All right, moving on. So right after this happened, Randy Orton entered the match as the final man, having earned that right by winning the gauntlet match on SmackDown.
Right.
And he proceeds to, all the other three guys left in the match were in precarious positions, having just gone through that Tower of Doom spot.
Mm-hmm.
So Orton got in the ring and kind of hit a few base moves on everybody as they were trying to get up. Kofi managed to drop kick Orton's leg out from under him. And Orton went down briefly. And AJ Styles, who had finally untangled himself from the ropes, proceeded to hit Kofi with a backbreaker maneuver.
Okay.
He forearms Kofi and knocks him down. AJ then goes through the ropes and goes for a phenomenal forearm. But AJ goes for the forearm, pops up, for the forearm. As he lands both feet on the top rope through the springboard portion, he eats an RKO.
Out of nowhere.
This was less out of nowhere because AJ had to stop himself balanced on the ropes. So basically, Orton had to catch AJ as soon as he was on the ropes, wait for a second to make sure they were set, and then hit the RKO.
Ah.
So not quite as out of nowhere. I mean, it was out of nowhere when he first looked up and grabbed him, but then because there was a moment for the setup, it kind of hindered the impact a little bit.
Fair.
But it was still cool.
See, I think it would have been better if Orton would have popped up after AJ jumped off the ropes, so he could catch him in midair.
Yeah. Well, in either case, said RKO was sufficient to pin AJ and eliminate him from the match.
Damn it, Orton.
Yeah. Okay. So that gets us to AJ Styles, who will get the base 15.
Mm-hmm.
He will get 5 moves, is 20. And he will get 3 for eliminating Jeff Hardy. Sorry, no, not Jeff Hardy, the other one, Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
So that will put AJ at 23 points for this match.
Okay.
Which will put him at 246. So once that happened, Kofi Kingston attempted to roll Orton up while he was recovering from that. But he kicked out. And Kofi then went up top, but Orton tripped him. And as Orton crotched the rope, or I should say as Kingston crotched the rope, Orton grabbed him and hit him with the hanging DDT. Although in this case, it was off the top rope as opposed to the middle rope.
Mm-hmm.
Following this, he grabbed Daniel Bryan with a belly-to-belly side slam. He then started hearing the voices and did the ground pound, waiting to RKO Kofi. But as he went for the RKO, Kofi pushed him off. Orton spun around. Kofi spun around. Trouble in Paradise. Orton goes down 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
That's right. Even Orton is putting the guy over.
Stupid Kofi.
So Randy Orton gets eliminated. So Randy Orton will get base 15. Base 15. And he had 2 moves and 17 points to Randy Orton.
And an elimination.
Oh, yes, and an elimination. 20 points to Randy Orton. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
For the elimination of Jeff Hardy.
No, for the elimination of AJ Styles.
Oh, right. Okay, right. Hardy was Bryan. My bad. Getting confused. Anyway. So with that said and done, that just leaves Bryan and Kofi.
And the crowd goes wild.
Pretty much. They got up. They stared each other down. These are the last 2 guys in the Royal Rumble cutscene from 2K19 played.
Mm-hmm.
And Kofi went for a Trouble in Paradise immediately. Bryan ducked it and drop kicked Kofi's legs out from under him. Then started throwing the world famous it kicks that he stole from The Miz. But Kofi managed to catch the last one. Pulled himself under Daniel Bryan's leg. Hit him with an SOS, but only got a 2 off it. The crowd is really behind Kofi, and they thought that was it, but it was just a 2. There are loud chants as the crowd is chanting, Kofi rocks! Kofi rocks! And even Corey Graves said that the world is believing in Kofi Kingston right now. Daniel continued to work over Kofi with some more kicks, and then hit 3 running drop kicks in a row in the corner. You know that running drop kick he likes to do in the corner?
Yes, his signature move.
He hit 3 of those in a row.
That's
When
3 points.
when it's normally 2.
All right.
Then he hit a 4th one.
Hmm.
Kofi came out of the corner and hit a double foot stomp to the chest for a 2 count. Bryan rolled onto the bottom rope and got himself out of the ring. And Kofi then climbed out, grabbed Daniel Bryan, and threw him face first into the cage wall about 6 times.
Okay, then.
Crowd was loving this. He tried to throw Daniel Bryan into a pod, but Bryan lifted him and sent Kofi hard into the pod instead, which led to a loud crash as Kofi's legs took the brunt of the blow, and he roughly landed on the hole. Just a big crash.
Mm-hmm.
Kofi staggered back into the ring, and Daniel Bryan hit him with a running knee, but only got a 2, which drew huge cheers because a lot of people thought that was going to be it, and Daniel Bryan couldn't believe it. Daniel Bryan stomped on Kofi's face for a while. Bryan then charged at Kofi. Kofi hit a Trouble in Paradise and went for a pin on Bryan. Bryan reversed the cradle, but only got a 2 out of it. Bryan then attempted to lock in the lapel lock, but could not get it locked in. And Kofi managed to grab the ropes to prevent Bryan from fully cinching the move in.
Fair.
Yeah. So anyway, Bryan went up top, and Kofi managed to trip him. More loud chants for Kofi. The audience is going nuts. Bryan climbed up to the top of a pod, and Kofi went after him. Threw the back of Bryan's head into the chamber wall a few times from the top of the pod, where they have that big piece of plexiglass above the pod. Or, sorry, let me correct myself as Cole reminded us. The bulletproof glass. Anyway. So anyway, as this was happening, Kofi went for a suplex, teasing a superplex off the top of the pod, but Bryan blocked it and then slammed Kofi's head into the glass a few times. Bryan then got kicked off the pod down to the top turnbuckle. Kofi then kicked him off of that into the ring. Kofi went for a big frog splash off the top of the pod, but Bryan moved out of the way and Kofi hit the mat. And this led to Bryan hitting one more running knee from the corner, which Kofi sold by doing a full 180 in the air off it.
Okay.
And landing on the ground, allowing Bryan to pin him and retain the WWE Championship.
Okay, then.
So there you got it there.
All right. Score it up.
It was interesting that Kofi lasted all that time, but didn't have any eliminations.
Yep, everyone else did all the work for him.
Yep. Oh, no. He eliminated Randy Orton. I forgot.
Oh, that's right.
He got rid of Orton.
With the Trouble in Paradise. That's right.
Yes. All right. So, Kofi Kingston is going to get the base 15 for the match.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get 3 points for eliminating Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
That puts him at 18. And then Kofi had 7 moves. Puts him at 25 points. And then 9 points worth of reversals. It's going to be 34 points to Kofi.
Fair. And your winner, Daniel Bryan.
Yes, you're still your WWE champion, the new Daniel Bryan. So let's see what we got here. Daniel Bryan will get 30 points for winning a match at a pay-per-view. He will get 25 points for a retention of his WWE Championship. He is 55. He will get 10 points for winning a specialty match. Is 65. He will get 5 points for winning the main event. Is 70. He will get the base 15. Is 85. He will get 6 points for moves. Is 91. And 9 points worth of reversals is an even 100 points for Daniel Bryan.
And 6 points for 2 eliminations.
True, 106 for Daniel Bryan. Put that at 271. Puts him at 371. Bada bam.
Anything happened post-match?
Following the match, Kofi Kingston was left alone in the ring. As Daniel Bryan left the ring, Rowan had come back out and kind of helped Daniel Bryan in the back.
Okay.
Xavier and Big E rushed down to the ring, and they proceeded to comfort Kofi. And the fans chanted, "Thank you, Kofi." And you could hear Big E tell Kofi that he deserved that. And they all hugged in the ring. The fans gave Kofi a standing ovation.
Wow.
They sat down on the chamber steps for a couple of minutes to kind of reflect, and then proceeded to walk up the ramp. And they paused at the ramp and turned around for just a moment so that the crowd could chant Kofi one more time. And there we go. Thus endeth the pay-per-view.
Fair. So I guess let's go to the totals.
Yeah, I'm going to check them out. All right, let's see here. Let me close this out here. I need some of these windows open. All right, so let's see what we got over here. Let me put this in here. I'm going to abbreviate the word elimination there. Let's make it elim. Yeah, it's better. 2, 19, 19. Okay. Let's see where we're at. And how much of a massive lead you have now.
It won't be that massive because Tiff got a bunch of points.
I know, but you got more. You got 2 sets of fresh tag team title wins and a main event specialty retention of the main belt.
That's true.
It's a 400-point gap.
Okay, that's more than I expected, to be honest.
Extremely Legit, yes, moving in the lead at 58-51. Rowdy Last Kicker still holding second at 54-29. I'm still way back at 35-08. So I am now effectively a full 2,000 points behind. I don't care how much I get at Mania. I ain't making that up.
Yeah, probably not.
That ain't going to happen.
Not unless they give you, like, all of Fastlane.
Yeah.
Which is probably not going to happen.
Nonetheless, Roman Reigns walks out on Raw, announces that he's returning, and then wrestles all the matches that night and ends the show by beating Brock and taking the title.
Did I just get close to 600 points for Elimination Chamber?
Yes, sir. Yes, you did.
Jesus.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, hang on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 18. Actually, you got more than 600. You got about 635.
Wow. I guess it's all those championships, huh?
Yep. Tiff got about 420.
Yeah.
I got 2, 3, 38, 438. I got about 270.
Which is still not bad.
No. What it is when you think about the fact that 100 of it came from Finn Balor alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's check the leaderboards.
Yes, let's. This is going to be interesting.
All right. Throwing it in. Top of the leaderboards is still the Raw Women's Champion, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, at 423 points. She is exactly 1 point ahead of the new Intercontinental Champion, Finn Balor, who's at 422. Akira Tozawa, off his great performance on the kickoff show, coming in at 373.
Despite the fact that he lost.
Yep. The WWE champion, still WWE champion, the new Daniel Bryan, coming in at 371 in fourth place, followed by Seth freaking Rollins, who wasn't even on the show, at 350. Sasha Banks and Bayley, the new Raw Women's Tag Team Champions, coming in next at 348 and 325, respectively. The man, Becky Lynch, coming in at 312 for showing up and wreaking havoc. Baron Corbin off of a specialty match that he technically shouldn't have won.
Yeah.
At 311, and rounding out the top 10 is Dean Ambrose, holding himself in there till his contract expires at 285.
Which is basically the end of the season.
Yeah.
I have 5 of the top 7.
Yes, you do. And Tiff has 4. I have Finn Balor and nobody.
Yeah, your next highest guy is Chad
Gable at the 20th spot at 220 points down here.
Oh, jeez, dude.
And then it's Nia and The Miz down here at 216 and 209.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got hosed. I'm sorry.
You're telling me. I'm going to be honest. Post WrestleMania, I'm tempted to scrap and redraft the rosters from scratch.
Oh?
Well, no amount of me drafting 8 people is going to fix this.
It could. It depends on who you get.
And
let's be honest, between now and then, more people could come up, and we still have to disseminate the NXT people that have just come up, and you don't know what they're going to do. I mean, chances are between now and WrestleMania, they're probably not going to do much, but after WrestleMania, I could see a lot of them getting big pushes going into SummerSlam.
True. You are not wrong.
And then if the big dog himself comes back, that's like a multi-100 point gain to your roster right there.
That is true.
And then when Kevin Owens comes back, that's another couple 100-point gain to your roster. Basically, by SummerSlam, your roster is going to start looking very good because half your roster is going to be uninjured and back.
Right.
So post WrestleMania going into the next season, even with the roster you have now, your roster is going to look pretty damn good because you more than likely are going to get Reigns back. You're getting Owens back. By WrestleMania, I guarantee you, you're getting Sammy back.
Mm-hmm.
We have all the new people from NXT that we have to split up. All the new people from NXT that came up before them are probably going to start getting massive pushes, or at least they're going to start using them more.
Mm-hmm.
And then with now the women's tag team championships in play, a lot of your female talent is going to start getting a lot of time and points.
True.
And also with the women's tag team championships in play, it would not surprise me if they call up some more female talent because I was honestly surprised that that Baszler's cronies didn't get in on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really wanting to see Kairi Sane and Io Shirai because holy gods, is that a stacked tag team?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them show up on SmackDown and challenge Asuka.
Fair. And also, if they really want to bolster the women's tag division, here's what I would do. See if you agree with this. I would call up Bianca Belair and tag her with Ember Moon.
That'd be a good team.
That'd be amazing.
Slightly racist, but it's a good team.
Yeah, it's WWE.
I know that just because they're racist doesn't mean we have to be racist in our fantasy booking.
Well, I was just thinking that they have complementary fighting styles, but
that's fair. Anyway, let's wrap this up.
Yes.
This has been Elimination Chamber. Stay tuned for Saturday. We'll do the usual for the week. We got new NXT guys we're going to have to, draft around. We will even things out, move things around, see where we're at.
Yeah, we may hold off on the NXT guys for at least another week until we get some confirmations. Because nothing's been really confirmed yet. We just have high speculation based on things that have happened.
Right. We'll see.
Yeah.
In the meantime, thanks for watching, folks. Jeff, thanks for being here. Tiff, thank you so much for doing all the scoring for that. That was really a big help.
Indeed.
You did that without even asking. Thank you so much.
What?
I can't decide if you being Asian makes it that racist.
Well, it's not racist because I'm Asian.
Well, it makes
It'd be racist if you did it.
Okay, well, it makes you stereotypical. How about that?
That's fair.
Anyway, we'll see you next time, folks.